We're into April in the garden, yay, which means that I can start sowing my courgette seeds. How exciting is that? And what I thought I'd do is something a little bit different, which just to experiment with using different compost mixes and see if it has any impact whatsoever on the quality of the plant, how quickly it germinates, how strong it is, and so on. So to that end, I've used the same seeds and I planted them in 4 different compost mixes, which I'm going to show to you. One of the things I'm really interested in investigating is whether or not there's any value in buying special seed potting mixes. So you can buy special compost which claims to be better for seeds. Does it make any difference? I don't know. That's what I want to find out. Or can you just use any old compost that you have lying around left over? Because if you believe some of the compost makers, they have like 20 different types of bags now for all different uses. You know, from bulbs to containers and so on. Does it make any difference? Do I need 20 different types of bags of compost in my garden? So that's the reason for this experiment, and let me talk you through it. Here are the 4 compost mixes that I've tried. As you can see, I've got 2 here that are special seed mixes, and the other 2 which are kind of random compost that I have lying around. So if I talk you through them, the Mr. Fothergill's enriched seed compost, that is a coir mix with seaweed extract. Now you buy it as a brick, so as you can see it's a very flat pat there. So in there's like a brick of coir, and then you add water to it in this bag that they provide, and it expands. I think there's some really cool things about this. Obviously it's really easy to carry, so you've got no concerns there. I guess it's much better as well in terms of the environment, because you're using less plastic for the amount of soil. And I have to say, using it, I felt like it seemed to have a lot of nutrition in it, if that makes sense. The only negative is it's smaller in terms of what you can get, I think, per cost per unit than some of the other soils. So the next one here is the Rocket Grow. Now I've been using Rocket Grow to grow all of my seeds so far this year. It's been a bit hit and miss, really. I've been a bit disappointed, to be honest, with the germination rates. I've had some very poor germination. However, it might not be the compost. It could also be some dodgy seeds or just bad luck. Moving on, I have here the Dalefoot. This isn't especially for seeds, although I know they do a seed mix. This is for vegetables and salads, as you can see. This is kind of really cool because they make it in the Lake District out of sheep's wool. So I always have these really beautiful countryside images in my head when I use it. And I use it a lot in the garden for just generally growing vegetables and things. Not so much just for seeds. So let's see how suitable it is. And then finally, and this is just completely random, is some ericaceous compost that I bought for my blueberries. So if you've watched my video on blueberries, they require a special type of compost called ericaceous, which basically means acidic. And I have this left over from that. If you'd like to, or you're interested in growing blueberries, then check out the link in the description. It shouldn't be especially suitable for growing seeds. So in a way, I'd expect it to do the worst, but I'm interested to see. It's certainly a very light compost, so it could be suitable for seed growing. So they're the 4 composts. Now, I'm trying to work out which one I think will do the best, just to make a bit of a prediction and have some fun. I think it's between the coconuts and the sheep, but I'm not sure. So yeah, I'd be interested to know if you have any ideas which one will do best and any theories about that. So my compost bags here are all leaning against my compost bins, my 2 compost bins. This leads on to quite a pertinent point, really, that I strongly recommend that you get into composting if you're not already. You can save so much money. It's not necessarily suitable for growing seeds because the soil isn't sterile and you might get weeds growing alongside and the competition, etc., which is why I buy bags for seed growing. But in terms of your general gardening, I was able to mulch my entire garden with just one of these bins this spring. And I think how much money I must have saved, quite a bit. And that was all just using kitchen scraps, old plants, And then of course you see that's your 50% green waste, and then you want 50% brown waste, which can just be leftover cardboard and things like that. So it's really easy to do. If you're completely new to it and you don't know how to get started but you're interested, I'm going to put the link to my video in the description so you can check that out. So there you have it. That's the experiment. I really hope you can carry on watching this with me. I think, although of course this is totally non-scientific, I still think the results are going to be quite interesting. I really want to see the difference between the special seed mixes and the normal. Is there much of one? You know, compost is so expensive. Can we cut costs that way? Is it all a marketing ploy? Or are they genuinely providing much better, stronger plants? In which case, then yeah, I'm happy to pay extra. So watch along with me, and yeah, I'll show you the progress as those courgette seeds grow. One very last thing to say before I go, which I forgot to mention earlier, is please, please, please make sure that you use peat-free compost. I think it's so important that we don't destroy another habitat just for the sake of our own gardens. And peat really is very precious. And once it's gone, it's not coming back. So let's protect those plants and the species that live in the peat bogs by using peat-free mixes. And they work just as well.